Hello, and welcome to Havoc Wargaming, dedicated to bringing you the uncommon. For those of you who haven't met me, my name is Ron, and today we're going to do a review of Kristoff Designs Buildings for Dad's Army. So let's get started. Some of you will recall that I did a few weeks back a box opening from Crooked Dice's Vlad's Army. Now, for those of you who don't know, Vlad's Army is a mashup based on a very popular British television show from the late 60s called Dad's Army, about the Home Guard in England, being mixed with the 60s and 70s horror films of the time. So it's a game in which the Germans are entering into Operation Sea Lion, or the invasion of England, using supernatural powers, mostly vampires. And so with that in mind, I was looking for suitable terrain for one of the adventures. There's a small campaign in there of 3 adventures in a row. And in that I discovered Kristoff Designs, and their set specifically designed on that television show, Dad's Army. I bought the complete set of these buildings. This is 5 buildings, 3 houses, 6 buildings. This is 3 stores based on characters and their jobs as presented in the TV series, and then 3 just basic row houses, a series of street to make a little high street, all made out of pre-painted MDF. These buildings are really useful, and I wanted to talk about them and show you some of the design right here, and then talk about other ways that you might be able to use them. I'm going to start with the shops. Well, first off, these are the roads themselves. They're made out of separate sidewalk pieces, the road itself, and then a section for the buildings to rest on with larger sidewalks. And these could be placed either like I have them here, or you could place them across from each other, various different formations. Some of them here with the figures to give you a better concept of what they look like with next to figures. These are the 0200 hour figures from Grey for Now Games, as made by Wargames Atlantic. So we'll start here first. Jay Jones in the television show is the Butcher, Jack Jones. He is an ancient member of the local group. These buildings, they're all pre-colored. They're actually kind of elaborate. You'll see the different colors for the names on the awnings and on the section there, the saying Jones over the door. They're neat in the window. The backs are all exactly the same on all the shops, just these shuttered windows and simple doors. The roofs do not, as they are made, come off. You could fix that easily enough if you really wanted accessibility to the inside of the building. Right now I glued them on to give them the extra sturdiness that roof is providing. But if you created some other way to create a floor, you could make the roofs removable, or you could purposely affix them to these. I decided to leave them so I could change them up in different ways. So Hodges is sort of the villain, if I can use that term, of the show. He is a warden, air raid warden, but he is also the local greengrocer, and he's lower class than some of the others, and it's an issue to him. It makes him somewhat officious in his position. Nice little shop, very well done, very, very much enjoyed that project. This is the Dower Scott Fraser's funeral director. His trade actually changes in the show. For most of the series, he is referred to as a funeral director. Then the others are just houses. The houses kind of put me off at first. I thought that these were just the foreground houses. They look a lot like them, though I think the foreground houses are deeper than these. But I believe these are all actually original buildings. 2 of them aren't done right now, but there are 3 that come with the set. They're all exactly the same as each other. I went ahead and bought them because this set, I didn't know the roads and sidewalks were coming with it. And it was going to cost me as much for the 3 buildings at the end that I wanted as it ended up costing me for the whole set here. So I got a really good deal by buying it all together. I got it on eBay. It's regularly available on eBay. And I would recommend anyone interested in the idea might do the same. The buildings are pretty simple in their finished look. They're a little complicated to assemble because of the multicolors and how they did it. But you know, I've built a few multicolored kits in my time, pre-painted kits, mostly either foreground or Black Site Studios. And any longtime fans of this page will know that I have a lot of Black Site Studios. But I really appreciated these. I think they're more delicate in the end, and what I mean by that is I think a lot of these pre-printed kits seem unusually bulky when they're done. They get around that at Kristoff partly by like these awnings. These awnings, this was a red piece of not MDF, but gray card. The letters pop out of it. It originally had red letters in here. Those all pop out, and then white card letters get actually inserted into there. So be sure not to lose the center of your O's, for instance, which you're going to need to replace with that. But it ends up keeping the scale of it down. They don't get thick and bulky and have that weird sort of massive feature that a lot of MDF can have, and certainly pre-painted does. I'm really happy with these sets. It took me a long time to get it. When I got it, the the maker said that he had an illness in the big company. In this modern post-COVID day, that's certainly possible, and I'm not going to say that he was being dishonest with me, but I also noticed a lot of comments in his comment section on eBay that he's often very slow. I'm not saying this to begrudge the fellow at all. I think it's a very small company. I think he does excellent work. I'm actually saying this as a warning, the suggestion that if you do buy any of his buildings, that you realize you may take some time and allow for that and be ready for it. I mean, I think it was about 3 months that I was waiting. I mean, it wasn't even showing up on my Facebook anymore. I mean, on my eBay anymore. Keep that in mind, but it is worth it. It is worth the wait. It was worth the money. These were very nice buildings. As I mentioned, or as I'm going to mention by the end of this video, he has other lines. So if you don't have a use for a Dad's Army set of buildings, and I could see how that might happen. There are other things. I should mention, I didn't. These buildings all have a front, I hope this is visible, a front and a back to them, but they're pretty boring on the side, but that's because they are meant to end up in this sort of side-by-side row house look. These could be used, like I said, I'm using them for crooked dice for Vlad's Army, but they would also be useful in any sort of Sea Lion, Operation Sea Lion game. If you wanted to use, for instance, the Warlord or the Wargames Foundry Home Guard figures, you could make an interesting game there. It also dawned on me while I was preparing this video that it might be fun to do 0200 hours set in this game. At present, 0200 hours only allows for Allied, and in fact at present only British, as the attackers with Germans as the defenders. But if you go on to their page at Gray for Now Games, they do have additional information so you can create other nationalities for the game. And it'd be really interesting to do like German airborne dropping into Britain prior to Sea Lion, and this would be a great use for that. The other reason I wanted to mention is even if you have no use at all for late 30s, 40s British buildings for your gaming table, that Kristoff Designs does other buildings as well. They do some other periods and some other places. These buildings themselves, the shops that I showed you, all have variations made to be in Normandy. So you might want to go take a look at their page as well for further ideas. I highly recommend that, and I'm going to put the link down below so you can find them. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have built any of the Kristoff Design buildings yourself or have any questions about them, I hope you'll put that in the comment section down below. Also, if you have further ideas for content you'd like to see us produce here on Havoc Wargaming, we look for the comment section for those as well. If you found this video at all useful, I hope that you will hit like. And if you'd like to continue to receive notifications for videos like this one or others that may help you determine how to better spend your money or time in your tabletop wargaming hobby, I hope you will hit subscribe and ring our notification bell. Till next time, cheers.